Yeah, how are you feeling now that you're back at home, finally?
Yeah, just like freedom.
Freedom!
Freedom.
You finally have freedom. You are free now. Finally.
Yeah.
So how do you feel back home?
Just feel relaxing.
Relaxed?
Yeah, relaxed.
Okay. So, Aaron, did you get a haircut?
Yeah.
It's really
Yesterday.
short. What did you do?
What did I do?
Yeah, what did he do to your hair? It's really short.
Yeah, I cut all the hair behind my head.
Yeah, you cut
On the
it like
side.
all on the side.
Yeah.
Did you tell him?
Yeah.
Is this like a new Korean hairstyle?
No, last time I used this hairstyle. Yeah.
Oh, and then you wanted the same one.
Yeah, because it's very cool.
Okay, it's very cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about travel accommodation. Oh, sorry, Yuqing, how are you doing? Didn't ask you yet.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay, great.
Like normal. Yeah.
Normal. Oh, Yuqing is going to share something at the end of the class today. We'll in like a minute. We'll give you a minute to share about your new
Okay.
her new masterpiece.
Okay.
Great. Okay, so today we're going to talk about travel accommodation. Who misses traveling?
Me.
Everyone probably. You just came back. You just came back from China. How could you miss traveling?
It's different.
Different. It's business, right? Yeah, okay. I think everyone missed traveling. Okay, so let's talk about travel accommodation. So Iris, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay. Accommodation abroad are more than just place to sleep and store your stuff. Finding temporary home that supports the activities you want to do while traveling abroad and fits your budget is a critical element of a successful trip.
Okay, great. So what do you care about when you're searching for travel accommodation?
I care about its safety and comfort.
Okay, safety and comfort. Okay.
Comfort.
What about you, Aaron?
Price and the quiet environment.
Okay, quiet environment.
Yes.
Do you mean the environment around your hotel or inside?
It's around the hotel, because one time I rent a hotel, but the environment surround the hotel is too noise. I cannot sleep.
Okay, so it's too noisy.
Yeah, noisy. Yes.
Okay, and so you couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. So talking about, I guess, the atmosphere and how it is around the place is very important. Okay. Yuqing, what about you? What do you think? What do you care about when you're searching for travel accommodation?
I care about security and how the station far away.
Okay, so you're talking about the location, the convenience of the location, and also about security and safety issues, right?
Yes.
I think most girls who travel alone will care a lot about that. So great. Okay. So the next part is your budget. Okay, Aaron, can you tell us a little bit about this?
Okay. No matter what your budget, you can find the right accommodation that suit your needs. Don't make an excuse for yourself as far as why you can't travel. Finding reasonable accommodation is as simple as doing some research and seeing what works best for you.
Okay. So what is the most expensive accommodation you can think of? And so let's start with Iris. What is the most expensive accommodation you can think of?
I think the most expensive maybe like accommodation combine the natural landscape. For example, like finished glass house, and I can see the snowing and aurora.
For
The light.
so for
aurora.
you're talking about like the lighting?
Light.
So is it going to be like a hotel? Is that the type that is the most expensive?
I saw many popular traveling schedule always going to the finish, and they will living in the glasses house. So
In a glass house?
Yeah, glasses. So you can see the all the view, and you can see maybe like snowing or star.
Oh, so it's like all glassed.
Yes.
Okay. So I think usually like a resort is also quite expensive because basically if you go to like a resort, especially like a beach resort, it's usually further away, and then the beach, there'll be a part of the beach where they own the land, so they will build the resort in front of the beach, and so only the people who live in the hotel, only their customers can access the beach, and sometimes it's further away from everyone else, so you get more of a private area. And usually inside there will be a lot of facilities, there'll be a lot of restaurants that are around there, so that the people living at the resort don't need to go outside. So that is usually where one of the more expensive resorts are. Some islands will have resorts so that it's even making the space even more private, and there will be less people there. Okay, Aaron, what do you think is what do you think sorry. So what do you think is the accommodation that is the cheapest? Which
Cheap.
yeah. So for the cheapest accommodation, what do you think it is?
The cheapest accommodation I know is someone will rent the I don't have to call it teenager hotel.
Oh, like a hostel.
Yeah, and only one single bed and very simple equipment for you for one night live or several night live.
Right. So for you to live for one night or to stay, we don't live there, right?
Oh,
We live in
stays.
our
Okay.
house, so we're looking for places to stay in. Okay, so we
Okay.
stay at a hostel, which usually they rent out their bed space. So sometimes you live with 4 people in a room. It could be a mixed dorm, which means that there could be guys and girls together, or it could be an all girls dorm room, which usually there'll be 4 to 6 to 8 or even more. I think I've lived in one that had like 16, and it was more like one of the capsule hotels where you only get like your bed is like super small, and then you when you go in, you will just have the space to lie down.
Uh-huh.
So it seems like more of a fun place. I remember that in Japan there was a lot. Right, Eugene? Have you been to one before?
No, I haven't been there. But I know because they need to stay there for business.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's a very cheap place that you can stay.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Eugene, do you have any other ideas about the cheapest or the most expensive accommodations?
I think some people they how to say they share their living rooms sofa
Mm-hmm.
to tourists.
They share their living room.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it do they earn money from that?
Some people share I think they share for free or not expensive, but only the target always is for people who travel alone.
Okay, for people traveling alone. So solo traveling, usually, I think you're talking about like couch surfing. I've been couch surfing before, which is what they mean is you're sleeping on their couch, but usually it's just they have maybe an extra bed or an extra room that you can stay in, and they won't charge any money. So have you ever had any experience with couch surfing before?
Me, I haven't.
Haven't?
Yes.
What about Aaron or Iris?
I haven't.
No?
I haven't, but I want to know where I can get the information.
Okay, so before, I remember the first time I went couch surfing was in Barcelona. When I went there, I think it was it was more than that, 5 or 6 years ago. I went to Barcelona to meet my best friend from high school. She flew there from Canada, and I flew there from Taiwan. And then I researched about couch surfing. So there used to be a website called Couch Surfing. It used to be free, but I think they started charging money for it this year. But maybe you can check it out. I think it's just you just type www.couchsurfing.com, and I spent a lot of time to look at the reviews of what other people said about them, because it's a little bit dangerous if you're going alone. For me, it was harder to find hosts. So they're called hosts, the people who host you. And I I was there with my friend, so I needed to find anyone who's willing to take 2 people, but it's usually much harder. So out of like 10 people, maybe only 2 people has enough room for 2. And you also need to look at the rating. Like some people will say like, oh, they have had fights with other people and some issues. And you can also look because every time a host takes someone in, the host will write about the person as well. So you will be reviewed, and so will your host. So you will review the host, and the host will give you reviews. Yeah. So it's best to check out if there's any negative comments about anyone. But it's usually more fun because people here, they want to share their culture with you. So I remember that I spent a lot of time with the host. She wanted to visit Canada. So my friend talked to her and gave her a lot of advice on traveling to Canada. If you want to travel to different cities, you can take the Greyhound bus, or how much it's going to cost for you to live there if you are on a low budget. So we talked to her, and so you have to have time. It's not like something like you just, like a hotel, usually you throw your luggage there and then you leave, right? You need to spend time to talk to the people there because that's what they want. It's not, it's more of using your time and your knowledge and maybe your interest to interact with them. Another time I used it was when I went to England. And that time I was going to stay overnight and then go on a cruise ship, which was in England. And I wanted to see if I could find anyone where I could just stay one night. And then the next day I would go and take the ship. But then I found another flight that I didn't need to stay overnight. So I contacted the person and she said she could let me stay. She was staying at a share house. So she was sharing the house with 4 other people, and all of them really enjoyed yoga. She was a yoga teacher. So I thought it was very interesting, and she also loved surfing. So I felt that we had a lot to share about our lifestyle and about traveling. So I was really excited to go and meet her. But then I didn't need to go and stay overnight. However, I still asked if she had time to have breakfast, and we did meet to have breakfast. So I think it's a very nice way to meet people. But you really need to look at the reviews because for girls, it's more important to be safe. There's a lot of guys who just want one night stand. They'll expect you to have sex with him for the stay. So you also need to be very careful about that. Okay, so let's continue here about travel accommodation. If you guys have more, Aris, if you have more questions about couch surfing, just ask me. I can give you some more advice. Okay?
Pretty cool. Thank you.
It's actually really fun if you meet the right people. I meet very nice people, so I think it's very nice. But I know people who has very bad experience about it. So you just need to be extra careful to make sure that your experience is good.
Yeah, we can train our English.
Yeah, and that. Okay, so the first part about travel accommodation, Yuqing, can you tell us a little bit about it? What are your options?
Hotels or resorts. Hotels and resorts are a great way to stay if you're looking for luxury travel.
Okay, so would these be the most cheapest or the most expensive?
I think it will be the most expensive.
Right, because we're talking about luxury travel. Okay. So, Iris, what's the next type?
Short-term rentals. The most popular sites for this is Airbnb.
Right. Okay. So, what is short term rentals from what you know about what Airbnb is?
I think it's more convenience and always close nearby city center. So just like Tokyo.
Okay, right. So people go there. Usually it's people who have like an extra room in their house. Like maybe if you have a 3-bedroom house and you're only living by yourself. So you have maybe 2 rooms that you can post on Airbnb and maybe make it nice and to rent it out for a day. So maybe you can just get for them to rent for like a weekend. That's also something that the house owner did when I stayed in Hawaii. His house was very big and he was living by himself. So he rented out long term to us and also to 2 more people. And then he had 2 more rooms that he did Airbnbs. And he was living by a beach. So he had a lot of people coming to stay over the weekend. Okay, number 3, Aaron.
Extended stay and service apartment, a combination of a hotel and a short-term apartment rental.
Okay, so what is this? What does this mean?
I think it's similar with Airbnb. You rent a not only a room, maybe it's several room and one living room, a kitchen. You can live here. You can stay here, and for or maybe several days, maybe over 1 week.
Yeah, so inside they will have more, so they'll probably have a little kitchen for you to use as well. Yeah, so you can stay there for a long period of time.
Yeah, kitchen for cooking or living room for watching TV or
right.
talking.
Right. Okay, so Yuqing, number 4.
Hostels. You can either get a private room, 4-bed dorm, 6-bed dorm, 8-bed dorm, or more.
Okay, so hostel. So that's the one that Aaron you're talking about, right? If usually these are more cheaper because you're not living in a room by yourself. You're living with other people in a room. So you only have the bed. So if people snore and are very loud at night, then you're going to have to live with that. So you always need to wear like earplugs or things like that. Yeah. So I think this is like the cheapest way to live, but it might not be of the best quality. Okay, so the next one, number 5.
Culture surfing, a good way to get free loading and get to know the culture from a local.
Right. So this word is lodging. Lodging.
Yeah, lodging.
Okay, right. And this is couch surfing.
Couch surfing.
Right. So basically you think of it as like they're surfing, kind of moving from one couch to another. Right? So you're living on people's couches. So it used to be that if you have a couch and can take someone in, that's their core value, right? It's more about the sharing, right? Maybe some people, what some people like to do is if they go and live at someone's place, maybe they will make them dinner, kind of like to exchange for the accommodation, right? You go buy something and cook them your own maybe homemade food. So it's different ways. It's just people who want to exchange cultures. Okay. Yeah. Okay, number 6, Aaron.
States, find a host or a host family to get to know, show you around, and then the culture.
Okay, so what is a homestay?
You find a family, or I imagine you find a family or a pair or a couple, maybe living in one country, and you can follow their life and live and stay at their home.
Okay, right. So that is very popular in America or Canada. Like a lot of people I know go there for language school, and sometimes they will go and stay at a homestay. And it's a really nice way also to stay with a local family. Okay, number 7, Yuqing.
Workaways allows you to work or volunteer for your accommodation and possibly food.
Okay, workaways. Okay, so usually it's kind of like in Taiwan, there's a lot of places I know that if you go to one of the islands, then usually you can do workaways. So you work during the day, maybe from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and maybe to clean. Either it's you clean the environment, or sometimes if you have some skills. So maybe if you're good at designing, maybe you'll help them to do some drawing somewhere, to design something, to design maybe the walls or things like that around them. Those are different things that people do. Okay, great. Okay, so let's continue on with to describe your experience. So do you guys have any very bad or very good experience you guys would like to share? Let's start with Iris.
Okay. I want to share one of my accommodation experience was in Spain. Yeah, I lived in an old castle. The city name is Toledo. Yeah, and the castle surrounded with the moat. So when we into the castle, we need through the bridge, a very very big and beautiful bridge, like Game of Thrones. You know, Aaron.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. And we stay at our hotel just in the castle. Yeah.
Wow.
And there will have many beautiful
Churches. Okay.
Yeah. And some of even church even is world culture heritage. Heritage. Yeah. And the castle is on the high mountain. So just like see the movie, live here can help defense the enemy. So I think it's my very memorable experience.
Right, great. Very, very interesting and fun experience about living in a castle. That's great. Aaron, what about you?
I have a travel experience, but it's not very good, but not bad. The experience is my visiting trip to Korea, and I stay over almost 14 days. And then during the time, at the first, I love the breakfast of my hotel, but after 3 days, I start to get tired of the breakfast, and then every night I sleep and social with my Korean colleagues, and day forward. I feel it's very boring life in a foreign country first time, because before that time I went to maybe Japan. I enjoy my trip, but that time I feel it's not a trip, it's just a work. Yeah, but I think but something still interesting, because at the weekend I, without any plan, I went to the place, and I don't understand the place at all, but I went to many places, and I just want to walk around and take the subway and then see something. Yeah, I just feel it's a interesting experience, but not very good, because it's a work business trip. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, breakfast, eating, having the same thing every day is very tiring.
Yeah, right. After I still remember at first I love the breakfast very a lot, but after 3 days I feel, oh my god, why is so same food, Korean food or the toast? Yeah.
Okay. Eugene, what about you?
I would like to share the experience when I went to Korea alone last year. And I lived in a hostel. And it's my first time to go abroad alone and live in hostel. And it's a lovely place. I also made new friends there who are from Singapore and Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
And the memorable thing is they invite me to eat Korean fried chicken
Good.
at the first night. So that's how we be the friends.
Became
Yes.
friends.
Became friends.
Okay, great. Okay, good. I think everyone has some good and bad experience, but they all sound very memorable. So great. So the next part we're going to talk about is the role play. Okay, so Iris, you're going to tell us about you're going to recommend the resorts. Okay?
Okay.
And Aaron, you're going to recommend Airbnb, and Eugene, you're going to recommend staying at a hotel. Okay. So you can prepare for 1 minute, and then we'll come back to the classroom, and then you're going to try to persuade each other about the accommodation that you have been given. Okay? Okay. Let's take a break.